What's up, people? This your boy Humble Dad back with another edition of Humble Dad Podcast. This is going to be incredible. Why do I say that? Because this is a dude that I would say is a brother from another mother. I mean, it seems like we hit it off like just us talking to each other and had never met each other other than conversating on King Talk. And I seen that this was a real dude. And then when I met him, I seen that he was even more of a real dude. And we chopped it up about life, about different things, fatherhood, music, and the likes. And so I could go on, but I want to welcome none other than the famous Chicago Rilla.
Famous or infamous, man? The famous. I wish, man. I wish.
Yes, sir. Listen, I had to do something to get a small laugh. You know what I'm saying?
Man, listen, I'm a nobody trying to tell somebody about him.
That's yeah. That song. Oh, that was a song trying to tell.
Yeah.
I'm just nobody trying to
Man,
tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody.
You might listen tonight, man. I'm excited about tonight. You might get an unveiling, man. You might get an unveiling tonight. I saw my son. Man, I saw my son do something. Recapping his past week, and I was just so proud of him, man. I was just so proud of him, man. Like,
you have to get into that.
Yeah, let's get it, man. I ain't gonna.
All right, so the first question I ask, what do you think the difference between a dad and a father is?
That's a great question, man. Man, that's a great question. You know what's funny? I should have been prepared for that because I've heard you ask it a number of times. I think the father definitely is responsible, structured, right? Like that's father. Like I think about when Ladybug calls me father. Like she's serious when she says father. Yeah, I got a ladybug.
Me too. My oldest, I call her Ladybug.
Yeah. Shout out to Ariel. When she says father, father, she's in serious mode, right? So she understands, like, from that perspective, I think that's the disciplinarian, the structure, this is serious time, right? But dad or daddy, that's the fun time. That's the other side of it, right? So, like, and let me be clear too. I don't do the whole baby daddy, baby mama stuff. Okay. I think it's wildly disrespectful. I don't use those terms. I don't embrace those terms. Even though my situation is what it is, she remains the mother of my children. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I will always forever say that, I chose her, right? I chose to be in that situation. So I don't do the whole baby mama, baby daddy stuff. So when I think about daddy, I think about, when you pose it that way, I think about my kids and how I respond to them. So I know if they saying daddy, they're calling out to me. They're yearning for affection from me, that's right? Mm-hmm. They're yearning for my attention. They may be yearning for my input, my investment, right? Whatever that looks like. But I just know when it comes to father, my sons don't do that. But I know when Ladybug says father, it's serious.
Okay, so let's go down the trip about when you was young dude. Right. Where you from? Are you from Chicago? But you grew up in Atlanta, right?
Yep. No. Born and raised south side of Chicago, 170 Wabash, Roseland area. Went to Corliss, all that. And then when I graduated, 3 years later, moved to Atlanta.
Okay.
I had some homeboys that was already there a year prior, and then one of my guys came back. Shout out to my man Reg, man. He had been dealing with a sister, super dope sister too. But he was dealing with a sister at Spelman, and she was from Chicago. They both came back for Christmas break, and he was like, "Yo, you playing?" Because they had been trying to get me to come for a minute. Yo, you playing? You gotta get down here, whoop-de-woo. And I was like, you know what? At the time, I really wasn't doing anything. I was working, but I just wasn't really doing anything.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I was going through a transition. Let me say that. I was going through a transition. And so when he said, man, come to Atlanta, man. And I already had like him, Jeff, my man Bob down there. And I think Darren was down there too at the time. But I know Bob, Jeff, and Reg was there. I was like, all right, let me go and see. Let me go and see what's happening. And went down there. And man, I stepped down there in January 5th. I won't say the year to date myself, but it was January 5th, and it was like 70 degrees. And I called my grandma. I said, yeah, I found 2 jobs in that same week.
Oh, wow.
I found 2 jobs in 1 week. Not Sunset Grill, Miami Grill, Miami something. And then McDonald's. And I said, hey, grandma, I'm coming to get the rest of my stuff.
So take me back to when you were younger. Who was your father figure or your role model as a
man? And I was thinking about that leading into the show too. And I think about it all the time. When I get a chance to get up with my uncles, it's always a celebration because Father's Day is coming up, and I really want to do thank you, man. Like I realize that I am one of probably the last shows leading up to Father's Day, right? And so I think that's major and important, man. And I do appreciate you not only extending the invitation but accepting my calendar invite. That wasn't intentional.
Yeah,
intentional. It was just like I know we need to get it on the calendar.
Yeah.
But for me, bro, man, my uncles, I got 3 uncles on my mom's side that I was able to pull from. And then my granddad, who wasn't my biological granddad, but he was, and I learned everything from that man. And it's crazy. I didn't realize it until he passed how much I learned from him.
What?
I swear for buttermilk, bro. That man taught me how to drive, and he gave me the nuance. I remember, when you go get your license, you go through the little driver's ed course.
Yeah.
So he's trying to tell me stuff, and I'm like, man, and at that time we called him by his first name. So I don't do that. In his passing, I don't refer to my granddad by his first name anymore. That's my granddad, right? That's another thing I learned, right? So I said, Granddad, I know how to drive. He said, boy, because you know how to put the key in ignition, that don't mean nothing. But you know what he taught me? He said, man, listen, when you come to a stoplight or a stop sign and you got to stop, you ain't got to mash your brake. Just roll. Man. Just roll. They don't teach you that in driver's ed. He said, you're wearing your brake pads out, man. Just roll to the stop sign, come off the accelerator, and you'll be okay.
What a simple thing.
Bruh. And so I learned that from him. I had a stepdad who I love to this day. I'm still thinking about how to honor him for Father's Day, right? And my stepdad, he gave me my love for reading. He also taught me, and it wasn't a thing at that time, but he taught me emotional intelligence.
Wow.
He's the one that taught me that it's cool to be, you can be a man, but you can also be in tune with your emotions. I know in these spaces that we currently find ourselves in, you can't cry, you gotta be a man. Nah, and you can't be overly on all that. And he never was. But when I tell you, I love this man with everything that's in me, and he just taught me so much. My love of reading and academics, and just being in tune with who I am, and emotionally, just having that self-awareness. He taught me that. And then my 3 uncles, I picked stuff from each of them. Like the uncle that I have that's 8 years older than me, he gave me my love for hip hop. My uncle Tyrone taught me how to be fearless in the sense of when he graduated high school, he went to the military, he went to the Navy, and we never saw him again.
Oh, wow. He wanted to get out, bro.
Nah, you know what? He traveled the world. He went to Japan. He went overseas. He went to this place, that place. Ended up in San Diego. Found a wife, Auntie Cheryl. Shout out to them. And he's one of my biggest role models for being fearless in terms of being able to pack up and do what you need to do and be a man's man. Shout out to you, Courtney.
What up, Courtney?
And then my Uncle Wayman. So when y'all hear me, Jesus Christ, he gonna hate it if he see this. He might like it, but he might hate it if he see it. So when y'all see me on the platform and y'all hear me talk that pimp talk and that slick Mac talk,
I was wondering which one it was, bro.
Yeah, that's my Uncle Wayman, man. He is a player from the Himalayas, man, but he is family oriented. He family first. Shout out to Cheeky. He is family first, family over everything. But okay, so I'll give you this. My family comes from Blytheville, Arkansas.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
And well, the origins that I know of, as far as I can trace back, Blytheville, Arkansas, and moved to Chicago. When they moved to Chicago, they was in the Taylors. Now, there's a couple of other places that they stayed in, but they primarily were in the Robert Taylor projects. So my uncle Wayman, my oldest uncle, man, he liked the Silver Surfer because he wasn't with like gang banging and all that. He was just hustling Mac. He wasn't about liquor, drugs, none of it. Really? It was about money and women. To this day, period. Money and women. You ain't talking money and women, he ain't got nothing to talk to you about. But you see in his old age, and my uncle's like a 40-year vegan, 40-year.
Is that something you're thinking about doing?
Vegan, plant-based maybe, but not vegan.
Oh, okay.
But I see the benefits because, man, that Joker looked like he my age. You know what I'm saying?
How old are you?
That's not part of the big reveal just yet. When we get that gorilla season popping, y'all will get the age finally. Let y'all keep guessing.
So let's not. Hey, I thought I would get you on that one. Shout
out to you, Cheeky. But man, you know what's funny, and I was looking forward to this, man, because I was able to pull pieces back on a couple of other interviews, and so I enjoy these opportunities in these moments. I didn't grow up with my dad, is the point.
Yeah.
And what I learned later on in life, I learned that my dad wasn't who my mom said he was. Yeah, I learned something different. And for that, I love him. I love Ricky. That's my dad's name, Ricky, and that's why I was named. My government, if y'all follow me on Facebook, I won't give it to y'all here.
Yeah.
But my government is not Ricky, but you'll see my government because they expected if you do the math or do the knowledge, you'll see that it was expected that they would call me Little Ricky, and that just never happened.
Okay.
But what I had to do by the time I got to Atlanta, Humble Dad, is I pulled something from all of them, all of my father figures, and I made a father. No, Courtney.
That's what that is, bro. Pretty Ricky, what they called him.
No. But I made a father out of all of the father figures. And then even by the time I got to Atlanta, what's funny is I was kind of already geared towards church. And so I had that to ground me, and that kind of sustained me, even though I was dumbing out. I dumbed out in Atlanta, but go ahead, man.
That was me in college for sure, dumbing out in college. So take me back to like middle school. Who was Rilla in middle school? And what was you
nerd?
What was and what did and what was you learning as far as like
so in Chicago? I know there are places, maybe suburbs and stuff like that, where they have middle schools. You got grammar school and high school.
Okay.
So what y'all would consider middle school, like in the South, that was just grammar school for us because it's K through 8. K through 8. Hey, we're gonna get into it, Cheeky. Freaknik 95. Sheesh. Hey man, listen. Don't let me
transition.
Listen, middle school, I was a nerd, man. What is that? Middle school is like what, 6th through 8th grade or something like that?
8th, yeah. Depends on where you're at.
Perfect. So middle school, I was back on the South Side because when my mom married my stepdad, we had moved from my grandma's house, and I grew up in a house where my grandma's house was the hub, right? So it was like me, my sister, my two sisters. No, Marlene wasn't born then. So me and my sister and my mom, and then my aunt and her kids, and then my youngest Uncle Tyrone was gone. Uncle Wayman was in and out, but he was kind of gone. And then my grandma, so it's a house full of kids, is my point.
Wow. Okay. And
then third grade, we moved to Cabrini Green. So I lived in Cabrini Green for 2 years, 911 North Hudson. If you look at Good Times.
Pause, bro. How do you be remembering all of these addresses?
Emotional connection.
Got it. Okay.
And numbers. So I always say with numbers, if I was born in Harlem, like in the 30s and 20s, I would have been a numbers runner because I could hold a number here and, but
I think that we have that in common.
My math is okay. So if I got to do quick calculations, like, because of where I work in retail, if I got to do a quick calculation in terms of adding, I'm good. But y'all start talking about squaring and cubing and triangles and
hypotenuse.
Yeah, that part. Yeah, it's no go. What did he say? What did Cheeky say?
He said that you're a
A
savant.
savant. No. No. God's gifts are without repentance or something to
Mm,
that. Without.
yeah.
So what happened was, if you look at the opening credits of Good Time, there's a dead pan of my building, 911 North Hudson.
That's crazy.
And I had a good time. I actually had a really good time in Cabrini Green. It was just a different time, but so middle school, 6th through 8th grade, man.
The question is, what was the advice that you remember getting 6th through 8th grade? Or what was you learning? Yeah, from your
what was I learning?
Yeah, from your uncle.
6th through 8th grade, I was competitive and was, man, you know what's crazy? Here's the crazy thing. Shout out to Ricky.
I appreciate my fam in here supporting. That's what's up.
Shout out to Ricky, man. Shout out, man. Anyway, shout out to you, Ricky. 6th to 8th grade in Roseland. Shout out to my man Darren and shout out to my man Toyan. And we all still cool to this day. These are my guys. These are my childhood friends.
Mm.
And we were all fairly smart. And amongst each other, we didn't gangbang. We was Jesus Christ. We was about girls and singing and shopping. I mean, like, you work, cut grass, rake leaves, and shovel snow. We go get these little fake phony gold chains in Roseland. And we just, in school wise, we challenged each other to be great in school. That's the crazy thing. Like, we were smart.
That's what's up.
Bro, when I tell you, like, I was a nerd just simply because I wore glasses. They didn't wear glasses. Man, Darren.
People call you a nerd because you wore glasses.
1000%. I mean, kids were cruel that time. It was Raj, like, from What's Happening.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But my man Darren, man, this dude was the first one that had the Thriller and the Beat It jacket. You know what I'm saying? He had.
It's not like y'all with the dude. What's that movie where three friends? Was it The Wood? Yeah, it was The Wood.
Yeah, The Wood that was us. That was us at that time. Toyan was, and I don't know how because he had a baby brother. Anyway, Toyan was the one, like, out of the three of us, he was the one that dressed fly. Like, he was the one, if there was a starter coat coming out, he had the starter coat. Now, he might not have had the Jordans, but up here was like Diodoras, Sauconys. It wasn't like Jordans was like really dope, but like, you had to have money to have Jordans. So my 6th through 8th grade, I'll give you this, bro. My 7th grade year, I got that report card to this day. I had all A's and 4 B's, 7th grade. And I was upset because I didn't get all A's, and I should have got all A's that year. And I remember the teacher, his name was Mr. Drozgo, Darzgo.
Why you putting this dude on blast, bro?
Man, because I said, yo, why I didn't get all A's? And he said, now, I couldn't give you all A's. That's a fact. I didn't take it negative. You know what was the worst part of that?
That's crazy.
Humble Dad?
What's that?
The worst part of that is when I brought my report card home, and I would come back with one semester, all A's, another semester, all A's, 2 B's, another semester, all A's, last semester, all A's, 4, two other B's. It wasn't oh my God, you're so, you can go, you can. It was, good job, little nigga. That's what you're supposed to do. Do you know what that did for my self-esteem for 8th grade year? Seeing that all the goofy niggas, the dumb niggas, the gang banging niggas, the niggas that act the fool in class were getting all the attention. Mm-hmm. Here I am, right? What, Hank? Oh, shout out to Hank. Here I am, in this circle of, me, Darren, Toya. I mean, we did everything together, man. We hooped at Palmer Park together.
You can hoop, bro? Y'all was just out there?
I mean, okay. Since you talk hooping all the time, Ricky will get this. Toyan was Isaiah Thomas. This is during the time. Dang, I might date myself. This is at the height of the Bulls.
Bro, we all know you old. It's okay.
This is a fact. So this is during the time that the Bulls and the Pistons were at the height of the rivalry.
Okay.
This is way before the Bulls started winning. So this is at the height of the rivalry. So Toyon, I don't have no idea. Maybe because it was blue and red and it was GD or something. I don't know what his connection was with the Pistons. But I mean, this nigga, he crazy. Anyway, he was an Isaiah Thomas fan because of his handle. But he wasn't from the South Side, he's from the West Side. So I don't get it. But my man Darren, everybody saw they swear up and down they was Jordan, right? So Darren thought he was Jordan. My man Timo thought he was Dominique Wilson. You know who I thought I was?
Spud Webb?
Nope. No, that was Bruce. I thought I was Sherman Douglas.
No way.
God. Well, for God.
That's hilarious, bro.
Yo, so that pic that you see, I post every now and again. My high school pic. I have the cap on and I look like Joe, and I always put like a Jodeci song. Jodeci was my favorite R&B group around that time. Sherman Douglas was my favorite ball player. Yes. And I had on a Syracuse hat and a Syracuse windbreaker in that photo. Ricky, okay. Chill, man. Chill, Ricky, chill.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Hey.
Yeah.
He said Rilla 50.
Almost, Hank. Almost.
Okay, so what was the advice that you feel like you got between we'll move up to high school that was like very pertinent to you? That
the advice that I got in high school wasn't even from somebody else, it was from myself.
Okay.
Do you?
Why? How did it come about?
So everybody else, so here's the thing. If everybody was going left, I learned to go right. If you was going up, I was going down. Everybody in Chicago was either like, not everybody. There was a lot of cats in my cipher, not in my cipher, like immediate circumference.
In your circle?
It wasn't those guys. It was everything around me. It was about gang banging, telling lies on your D. Like, I knocked this one down, I knocked that one down, dope dealing, right? It was a lot of that. So you saw, like, for me going to school, I saw a lot of gambling, pitching pennies, get like me. I saw a lot of cats getting pumpkin heads. The school and you know, if you're from Chicago, you know during that time it was one block could be GD, the next block Folk Corner Hustler, the next block Stone Love. All of these cats went to grammar school together. So if I go under the viaduct on 103rd and Cottage Grove, like, yeah, I just love high school. I might have just had 7-period lunch with this nigga, but now I got to run from him and his homeboys on the way home. Yeah.
Wow.
Man, it was crazy. So what I learned was that Neutron was the way, man. Neutron was the way. I did a talent show with my homeboy Timo. Shout out to Timo. My man swear he the greatest rapper alive, and I won't argue with him.
What's his name?
Timo.
Oh, okay.
Timo. He one of the dopest rappers off our block. He just used to rap all the time, man. And I did the talent show. Me and Darren did the talent. We was his backup dancers on some like Cool G Rap, Kenny and Sean. Like, I know all the hip hop dancers, so don't get me started on that. So if I say Kenny and Sean, a lot of y'all might not know, but Kenny and Sean, Cool G Rap dancers. That's what me and Darren, we patterned a lot of our routines. We would get some stuff like Chicago dancing, but then we would watch like Rap City and raps, and we would incorporate a lot of the moves. So Trouble T, like Heavy D dancers, special ed dancers. So we did that first talent show, right? This was my freshman year. We got booed. But what I learned was it wasn't us getting booed. They was booing Timo. Because if you was going to rap, you had to have personality and cultivate. So my man Timo was like more like Uncle L, like, no rapper can rap quite like I can. I took a muscle bound man, put his face in the sand. They wasn't with that. This is Chicago. They wasn't with that. You know, around this time, this is when Twisters kind of started taking off. You know, maybe Common was coming into prominence around that time. So they wasn't with that. But me and Darren, so, okay, remember this. When you would do those talent shows, it would always be like on a Friday or a Saturday, and then you come to school Monday. Yeah. Everybody talked about what happened. So when we came back, they was like, oh, man, your boy was whack, but y'all was killing it. Wow. Right? So that's when I found my love for dancing. So in grammar school, I was a nerd, getting picked on by the MCs, MC Mickey Culver's gangbang stuff. It was MCs, GDs not so much, but MCs and VLs, getting picked on by them. And it was, mainly because I wore glasses, and even with my affiliation with Toyana and Darren, it still wasn't enough. So, I was a nerd in grammar school, and I was the kid like, oh, he got all A's. That's a smart nigga. That's a smart nigga. So, and these niggas is in the back acting dumb. I remember, let me tell you this real quick, man. I remember my man Toyan. Let me see how much time we got. Okay, let me do this real quick. All right, shout out to Toyan, man. I remember, if you watching this, nigga, I remember when you ate them punches from Andre in the back of that class, dude. I remember, hey, nigga, Andre had a rep like for beating niggas up, and Toyan, we wasn't known for fighting. And him and Toyan got to some type of argument. Man, that nigga tried to run down on Toyan, and he was taller than Toyan by a couple of inches. Nigga started feeding him them punches. Toyan kept, man, face didn't move. He was eating them to the face, man. That's the type of environment in the back of the class. While the teacher is there, they're fighting. The teacher is there. Niggas is fighting, and my man Toyan eating them punches. Niggas like, hit me again. And that's my nigga.
What? Yeah. That's crazy.
That's a true.
That's crazy. Okay, so then I'm gonna take it a different way. Okay, so
it's my man.
When you became a dad, right? The first time you became a dad, do you have an understanding at all? I've never asked this question, so just let's see how I can word it. The way that you were raised, how do you feel like that contributed to how you parent?
To this day, I don't want to be a reflection of my daddy. Well, let me tell you this. The first time I became a dad, I didn't know I was a dad. The first girl, I love you, Darshay. When I brought my daughter into this world, man, I didn't know she was mine. Her mother didn't bring her around me for about a year or two. And she was cool. She lived literally right up the end of the block, but she was I could tell you exactly how my daughter was conceived because it only happened one time.
Yeah.
I could tell you the exact moment, where, how, who was there, all that stuff. And but I thought she belonged to somebody else. He knew that wasn't his daughter, and he protested, but I had never seen her. And this is one of the things that led me to Atlanta. Dang, I told you I was gonna get an unveiling tonight. I was at Harold Washington College. I was doing my thing. I was in school. I was working. I was focused on just being a good nigga. And
I got you.
And at the time, I'm still staying with my grandma. My grandma not requiring much of me, so I'm still able to dress fresh, go out, party, kick it, and then I get a call from Darshay grandmother. Hey, I got something to tell you. And I was excited because I was always cool with her. I was always cool with her grandma. I was like, oh man, what's up? How you been? And da-da-da. She said, oh, everything's good. Yeah, I got something to tell you. Darshay yours. And I said, what? Yeah, Darshay yours. I said, no, I thought y'all said she belonged to such and so-and-so. No, she yours. Okay. Hung up the phone, tried to finish doing my homework, couldn't. And one of my homeboys, shout out to my man Bob. Oh, and Wale. Wale is my guy. Shout out to Wale. Wale went with me. Bob went with me. Because I had to see first.
Okay.
Anything. Yeah. And when I saw her, I knew. And they was like, yeah, you can't deny that one. So when you talking about my first, that's her. And my intentions were not to be like my dad, so I overcompensated.
Man, I know about that.
Yeah, I overcompensated. I did the most. I went and got a second job. Her sister's dad was a pharmacist, and he was able to shower them with Jordans and all. So I'm oofy goofy neutron, working class Negro, trying to compete And and the cool thing, the funny thing is, me and dude, we used to hoop together. We was right across the street, and we said we wasn't gonna compete, but subconsciously, like I knew I was still competing with this nigga.
Yeah.
So I'm buying stuff, for her that I couldn't necessarily afford, but we ain't got the second job, so I could afford it because I just didn't want to be that type of dad. And what eventually happened was I felt like I was forced out of the picture because it was like, no, I ain't got you on child support. I ain't got you on this, I wanted you to know because I don't even know why they wanted me to know that she was my seed, but they didn't want me involved.
Wow. And
that's what was crazy to me because the biggest thing for me was at that time for her to meet my grandma so my grandma could see. Because like in my family, my grandma gives the blessing like over all the babies.
Yeah.
My grandma is the one that has the dream about fishes. So if she dream about fishes, one of you heifers is pregnant. You know what I'm saying?
It needs to be a thing for sure.
So to this day, that's kind of what governs my thinking is that I don't want to be Ricky. I don't want to pattern his behavior, but I ended up patterning his behavior.
How you think that you did that?
I have a half sister that's 2 months older than me. Okay. I have some seeds that are 5 months apart.
Got you. Okay. I got you. How many kids do you have, if you mind sharing?
That's part of the big reveal.
Okay. Hey, listen, you're welcome to not answer no questions.
No. I don't mean to disrespect the platform. I'm just saying
it's not just.
Yeah,
I don't think
some things I'm saving specifically.
Listen, I ask questions and you answer.
I appreciate it, but some things I'm saving specifically.
Yeah. This has never been a platform to be about like trying to get somebody. It's been about right. It's always been about what are you doing as a dad? What impacted you?
Yeah. Let me say this. Let me admit this much at least because I don't want to give the number. It's not an astronomical number. But when we talk about dirty dick Rodneys and niggas that was just careless with their dicks and out here just wild, that's why I would say when I got to Atlanta, I was a slut monkey.
Yeah.
Okay. When I got to Atlanta, anybody could get it.
Okay.
Everybody was getting it.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
And it was just a wild time in Atlanta, man. It was just a wild time. And what's crazy is, well, the crazy part is it was just on some Chicago like slick talk. Anyway.
They like the accent? Is that what you're saying?
Nah, it was I don't even think I have an accent. It wasn't even that. We would go, me and my crew, man, we would go to like the warehouse, we would go to the original Velvet downtown, like the one that David Justice and Frank Thomas used to go to after the Braves game. We would go to Club Kaya. We was just clubbing all over Atlanta, and because it was a mixture of HBCU, you had California, Detroit, New York, all these different people just mingling. Man, it was something about that Chicago, man. Niggas wanted to see what it was about. I was willing to show them.
I see. All right. So as
monkey activity, man. I'm not proud of it. I don't recommend it. That's why I be so adamant. And for any dude that, when we had these conversations, Humble Dad, and dudes be like, nah, you can't tell these young bloods, they gonna do what they do. No. If I had, man, listen. Okay, let me say this.
You had foresight.
No, listen. The first time I had sex, my uncle walked in on me.
Oh, wow.
The very first time I had sex. The first time I had sex was on a dare. I didn't even like the girl. We didn't go together. We wasn't talking. It was on a dare. It was on some old like, girl, I'll beat your guts up and boy, I'll drown you. Well, let's see. Okay, well, let's see. You for real?
Wow.
So look, it was like, you for real? Yeah. Man, we went to the basement. My uncle walked in because he was coming to wash some clothes or something, man. And he was like, nephew, what you doing? Man, tear that thing up.
Wow.
Now imagine if my uncle had said, no, bro, that's not how we do that. You're violating that young lady.
Yeah.
You're not protecting her from herself, and you violating yourself. What are you doing? What are you doing? If
You
my
don't see the
uncle,
value in who you are.
it would have changed my perspective.
Wow.
Because again, you asked me who I patterned myself after. Who did I look to?
Yeah.
My uncles, my stepdad, and my granddad. These
Yeah.
are the people that I looked up to. And when my uncle was cheering me on, and then he told my other uncle. Now, mind you, you go back to your circle of friends and like, yeah, I knocked Elizabeth down. And it's like, man, you beat that? Man, I killed them. Like you saying you ain't getting nothing, man.
That becomes a validation.
You ain't get half a pump in and you know what I'm saying? But my uncle, because it was my uncle, it meant more. And then so I thought that was the thing. You're supposed to knock everything.
And so he validated what it is that you was doing. And so you was like, okay, well, this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So as you get out of it, like what was the transition of getting out of that?
The word.
Just the word?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to
that's what it was for me for sure.
Shout out to Pastor Ricky Singleton at Word of Faith Fellowship on 127th and Halsted. It's not there no more, but in his church, shout out to my man Ant too, man. Ant was the one who really was leading us to the Bible, and we didn't want to hear it. Ant was the type that would go to a B-boy jam with us on the north side. Like we would go to these jams.
Yeah.
We would party hardy, loosey booty, and then we on the bus back to the crib or on the L. On the train back to the crib, and he's preaching on the train. This is what Ant's doing as a 18, 19-year-old kid. This is before we got to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So when I got to Atlanta, this is what I was saying. When I got to Atlanta, I knew what church covering to fall under because I was already under Pastor Ricky Singleton and his father in the ministry. I don't want to say who that is because it may stir some pots or whatever. Mm-hmm. But when I got into the word and I got understanding,
I was thinking the same thing, Cheeky.
I got understanding. How many Rickies you know? Wait, huh?
You said Ricky a lot.
My daddy.
And then you have Ricky on the on King Talk, and then you just said Pastor Ricky.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah, Pastor Ricky Singleton.
So he's like, how many Rickies?
I know Ricky from Boys in the Hood.
You see,
I don't know. A lot of Rickies run around this camp. Yeah, Ricky Singleton was a beast, man, in terms of the word. Man, he was a beast. And he was, again, his church. We were the only shorties in the church that was up there without our parents.
Oh, wow. You was there because you wanted to be there?
He was there because I wanted to be. Yeah, one of the most pivotal lessons that I got, which made me forgive my father. He was teaching like on a Sunday about forgiveness. That's and great. He was and you know how you be sitting in there and you like, is this man reading my mail? What the like he was literally reading my mail, and it was me, my man Wale, and the girl I was dating at the time, and because she was going through some healing with her pops. Man, we was all on that floor, balled out, crying. The man was reading our mail, man, and when I moved to Atlanta, I ended up leaving his church to go to his father in the ministry. And what's crazy is I left and I didn't leave properly.
Okay.
I didn't even realize I was under the potential of a curse because I didn't leave his church properly. But sure enough, God saw fit to put us together in Atlanta again. And he was like, I remember y'all and I was wondering what happened to y'all. And then we told him what happened, and he released us unto, his father. I think that's 1 Corinthians that talk about let all things 14:1 or 1:14, let all things be done decently in order. I believe in that. And I don't think that was by happenstance that we, was able to link up with Pastor Singleton and get that release like that. But he was pivotal in me coming in my initiation into understanding the word.
That's what's up. So as a father now, I mean, you've been a father for all this time. So like, what are some things?
30 years. Almost 30 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. 30 years. What's something that you could say that you've learned from each one of your kids? Just like 2 or 3 things that you learned.
No, here's the thing that I learned. It ain't even 2 or 3. It's you have to allow them the space to be them, right? Like you can't
That's tough.
Discipline them all the same. You can't talk to them all the same. You can't give them the lessons at the same time, all the same. Like they're all different. And so, as a leader, as a father, as prophet, priest, king, you have to tailor that message to each of them. And I think a lot of times what gets missed is that we think the message got to be aggressive all the time. It's got to be hard all the time. Nah, sometimes I got to talk to. Now, sometimes I do have to let Ladybug know, hey, man, them tears don't work on me. I
That's my 4-year-old. I have to do that. I have to say that to my 4-year-old.
It don't work on me. I love you. Yes, you're Ladybug. Yes, you have my heart. Yeah. Them tears don't do nothing for me, fam. Yeah. Right now, because I let me say this. I'm not against corporal punishment.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I did administer corporal punishment to them, and it was up until they was like 5, maybe 6 or 7 or whatever, when they were younger, and I administered corporal punishment, man, listen, I have a son who's my namesake.
Okay.
And for him, it was like, you killed him. It was, oh my God, you might well call the police. He dead. But my fat boy, right? My fat boy, Tezzy, if you ask him, like, would you rather take the whooping or the punishment? He'd rather take the whooping because 5 minutes later, it don't bother him. So that's what I learned for them, is that you deal with them differently, but that's also, it taught me how to deal with people
I was just about
for what I do in real life.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, for what I do on my job, bro. I literally, in leadership, for the people that I lead and the type of people that I lead, I actually have to deal with all of them. I can't deal with none of them the same way. So that was
absolutely. Yeah. I think that's important to know. I learned that kind of like the hard way for me, because with my girls, I can't really be hard on them. Like my oldest, I can't talk firm to her. She breaks down into tears. You know, I mean, there are moments and times that I've been able to kind of talk to her harshly, but for the most part, it's not gonna. It kind of takes down her self-esteem a little bit, I think. And then with my boys, well, Joshua, like he cool regardless. Like you can whoop him, you can talk to him sternly, and he typically understands why he's getting the whooping. Right, and he has that type of. I think all of them have emotional intelligence, because I explained it to him, like, this is why you're getting in trouble. You know what I'm saying? What's your thought on it? You know what I'm saying? I say that sometimes, but that may be afterwards. You know what I'm saying? And then Ethan, he's the one, like, he's just come out of not being okay with getting the whipping. Like before, like from 4 to 7, he didn't care. He didn't care at all. You know, and so when you say that you have to have different management techniques or styles with each of your kids, yeah, that's for sure a true statement.
Yeah, my stepdad, man, my stepdad to this day is the only person that ever whooped me, and when he said this is gonna hurt me more than it hurt you, I believe him.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, I believe it hurt that man. I believe it hurt that. I think he was a product of what he was caught in the crosshairs, man, because you're a stepdad. These ain't your kids, but you with this woman. These are her kids. So you still run the risk of, you ain't they daddy. Right? Yeah. My mama is a firecracker. And so then you got to run the risk of us saying, you ain't my daddy. And so he was always, and then he was an enlightened man. He was a well-read man. He was a man, really. Okay, I'll tell you the story, bro. I don't even remember. But anyway, we was in Cabrini Green. My youngest sister, that's his seed, and then my sister that's right up under me, that's not his seed. He was leaving out for work. He had this big scruffy beard, like way worse than all y'all that be on the panel. And he was leaving out for work. He kissed my mama. He kissed my sister. He kissed my baby sister because my mama was holding her, and he kissed my sister. And then I'm just there. I don't realize, because he was like, I remember him saying this. He said, "What, you want me to kiss you too?" And but apparently I must have just been looking, like wanting something from him. You kissed everybody else. You leaving me hanging. I don't remember having these feelings, but it left a mark on me because he ended up coming kissing me on the cheek, and I'll never forget what it felt like to have that damn Brillo pad on my cheek. But that man affirmed me in that moment.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that I hate sometimes when we in the space, man, and act like young bloods don't need that value. Man, I still kiss my boys.
Me too, bro. Like my boys.
What is we talking about, man?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
My boys, they're huggers. You know.
Yeah, they older now, so I don't do all that now because they do all that.
They gonna get it, bro. Like they 10 and 8, and they like hugging. You know what I'm saying? It's you know, it's
yeah,
what
they'll definitely get the affection because the main point that I want them to know is that you are loved.
Facts.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
I ain't got to be hard on you all the time. Now, when I need to be hard on you, definitely believe that I am hard on them. I don't want them committing the same mistakes that I've committed, but I'm proud of my kids, man. I got a son that's y'all niggas don't even know, man. I got a son that's getting ready to get his master's in theology from Emory, man.
That's wow.
I'm Gucci. That's why sometimes we be having these conversations. I really just be trying to relax and chill and just
because you're proud of your seeds, you know.
I just know what's going on in real life.
Okay.
I don't have the same concerns. Like, you know, when we talk about the state of the community, like my kids move. My oldest daughter, is a god doggone revolutionary, and she get it from her daddy. And I be having to tell her to chill. I swear for buttermilk, Heifer them ran all up in these white folk community, like,
wow,
trying to tear stuff up, and I'm like, yo, you gotta relax. You can't do that. You cannot do that. But I'm proud of them, man. My two daughters, you know, only been with one man. One is engaged. One is married. You know, my son that's getting ready to graduate, youth pastor in Atlanta, ready to graduate from Emory with a master's in theology.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy to me, Humble Dad, nobody ever asks, like, how? Remember, I told you I was Dirty Dick Rodney.
Yeah. So where do you think they get that from then?
Me and their mama.
So y'all work together.
It was definitely the selection process was paramount. Selection process was paramount.
That's what's up. You know, side note, I won't be on the show tonight.
Why?
Because I'm preparing for my defend my
dissertation. Show enough. Is it Thursday?
It's on Thursday night. Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, that's Boothang birthday, man. I'm gonna be rooting for you, man.
I appreciate that.
Just send me a text. Let me know how it ends, man.
I just posted on Facebook.
I'll be defending Wu-Tang, man. My first paper in college. Was it the first or the second? One of the first papers I had to do in college. I think I either did it on Wu-Tang. I did a paper on Wu-Tang because their deal was unparalleled. That they were able to structure their deal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They could get the solo deals at whatever record label. The other paper that I did was on Carl Kanai Cross Colors.
What?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
That's why when you look at for me, when I look at hindsight, I'm like, dang, man, if I had stayed the course, man.
That's why it's so big for there to be mentorships and fathers in people's lives, because it definitely changes the trajectory of people of the kid from what I'm seeing, puts them in at a better position instead of starting from behind so much. All right. So we're gonna get to these questions, bro. Okay. All right. I'm going to you got to give me a number between, let me see, 11 and 30. 11 and 30, you're going to give me three numbers. What's your first number?
17.
How are you most like your parents? How are you different?
How am I most like them?
What?
I'm trying to think like how am I most like my parents. I think that their tenacity, their stick-to-itness, their determination to see something through, right, wrong, or indifferent. Right, that part, like I had to learn how to get out of that part, like the right, wrong, or indifferent part. Their tenacity and their stick-to-itness. That's how I'm most like them. How am I different? My whole life, the life that I've been able to create for myself, the man that I've been able to mold myself into by the grace of God, like 1000% by the grace of God, is total antithesis to who they are.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
There's a whole story there that people really don't really deep dive into, but there is a remnant of children who do not strive to be like their parents.
I know. I think it's our generation.
They fight tooth and nail to not be anything like how their parents were.
That's what I mean, talking to these dads, especially of our ethnicity, if you will, that's what it seems to be, that they don't want to be like their parents.
And let me say this too. I don't know if Cheeky's still in the audience, but I think sometimes, when I listen to these young bloods, it cuts, man. Cheeky reminds me of the cats that I talk to here. The intelligent young cats that I talk to, and not the cats that I'm dealing with in the street. I understand their mentality. I understand everything of Jesus. I understand what they're saying to me. With Cheeky, because the way that he articulates a lot of stuff, and the way that it comes off, and the way that sometimes his generation in particular has disdain for, it comes off as disdain for my generation. It's like, fam, we fought to give you what you have. How can you? And it hurts, right? But he has a point. Their generation has a point too. So I just wanted him to know that if he's still in the chat, man, like, we pay attention, man. Ain't nobody trying to hold nothing from y'all, because I promise you, the Jesse Jacksons, the Al Sharptons, the leaders of the yesteryears wasn't trying to pass nothing.
Facts.
Nothing.
Facts. So, what's your next number?
17. You said 11 through 17.
11 through 30.
11 through 30. Let's go with 27. Let's stay on 7.
How did you meet your wife?
In high school.
And how did you know she was the one?
When I talked to her. I met Boo Thang in high school. It's funny because we didn't date in high school. We didn't look at each other romantically. She was one of them fly chicks. She was just super duper fly. But we wasn't in the same circle. Although there is a yearbook picture of us, like a group picture of our crews combined. There was a picture. So there's that. But we didn't hang out or kick it or nothing like that. And I was in Detroit, and I was recovering from another situation. And at this time, let me be clear on this, I had processed what I needed to process. I said this on another show. I had done the work. I was in a good space. And it was only because I had done the work that I was able to recognize who she was when she presented herself. But yeah, I jumped in her inbox. That's basically what happened.
That's what's up. Right, give me your last number.
30. Let's go with 30. 30 for 30.
All right. What makes you successful at work?
My transparency and vulnerability. The fact that I'm willing to show up and be wrong, right? And be vulnerable in that space, but at the same time, stand 10 toes down on what I know to be right in terms of standards, policies, procedures, and more importantly, my vision for my store. Listen, man, them jokers been testing me lately. So you got to know the vision for your store, because if you have the vision, that's what really kind of keeps everything glued in. But I'm also willing to admit, man, listen, them jokers will call me out if I'm not making something right or doing something right. They will call me out, and I'm cool with that. I just tell them, y'all got to be ready when I'm calling y'all out on stuff too.
That's what's up. We got 2 questions left. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Which TV dad do you feel like you resemble the most? Past, present. Whoa.
I think about with Rock. Remember the episode where Chauncey from Minister Society, he was a dope dealer. He came to his house. They had that altercation. Rock was about the people. He was an everyday, average working man, and he had a fine wife. I got a fine wife. And he had a knucklehead brother. I got some knuckleheaded uncles, and he had a solid dad, which I got a solid step pops. And man, he was still a man's man, but he was about the people. He was about community, but he was a garbage collector.
Right.
And you know what's crazy? A lot of people don't even remember that show, and that show was dope.
I remember the season that they did All Lives.
Man,
I remember that season. I don't know why, but when you just brought it up, I'm like, I remember the season that they did All Lives. That took a lot of courage to do.
Well, they were all like trained stage actors too, though.
Which is dope. But I'm saying to take that risk.
You're right. On national TV.
We don't get too many opportunities to be on TV.
And that show, listen, for anybody in the audience, man, if you are not familiar with Rock or Charles S. Dutton, wasn't that Sharif Dad in Minister Society? That was Sharif Dad.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that was Sharif Dad. Yeah, go watch. Yeah. Shout out to you, Said. Man, good to see you, boy. I better see you in Atlanta, man. Said. Shout out to Said, man.
Yeah. That's what's up. It reminded him of his father. That's dope.
Yeah.
And the last question, did you have something you wanted to say?
No. I was just saying Rock was dope.
That's good. Okay. So the last question is, how would you like for your kids to remember you? What would you want them to say about you?
Man, you know what? To be honest, I'm so busy still trying to create memories. I should have been ready for that question too. But I don't give no thought to that, man. I really don't. I'm gonna tell you why, because I really am living for them. Dame Dash said something about, hustling for your last name.
Yeah.
And man, I just really, people underrate and just really write Dame Dash off, but man, you can't front on dude, man. He is who he is, man. And
would he be saying ain't lies?
And when you talk about hustling for your last name, that's the part where you're talking about leaving the legacy when I'm gone. So I do understand, I would hope that they say like my dad loved me or anything of that nature, but I can't. That stuff I don't control. Yeah. Right? How they experienced me, I don't get to tell them how they experienced me while I was here.
Right.
The only thing I could focus on is creating memories. Right. So, I hope that the memories that we've been able to create, I hope that, me telling my sons in particular, defining integrity for them, and then being able to come to them at 18 and 20 years old and say, hey, what is integrity? And being able to say, doing what's right because it's right. And then you do it right, even when nobody is looking. This is stuff that was drilled in them when they was 3, 4, 5. 15 years later, they still able to say it. I would hope my girls are able to say, when they look at their husbands or, whoever they dealing with, they're able to see a piece of their father. And that's why I chose you. Right. But when I transition, man, I already told my oldest daughter what the game plan is. I don't want no haters at my funeral. I don't care if they blood kin or not. I don't want no fakeness, no phoniness. I don't want none of that. I want everybody to wear all white. I want them to play the percolator. And I want my ashes spread in Lake Michigan. I don't want no coffins, no nothing. Wow. Put me in Lake Michigan. I'm South Side. I'm Chicago in till Chicago ends. Put my ashes in Lake Michigan, man. That's it.
Well, that concludes this episode of Humble Dad Podcast. Want to say appreciate you, homie, for coming by, stopping by to and give us some knowledge on who you are and how you came to be who you are, and so all those that are out there, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. And then Chicago Real is over there on Instagram, on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you have the last words, bro.
Man, listen, bro, the work that you're doing is so important. And so for my last words, I don't have anything to promote. I don't have any grandstanding to do, man. I just hope that if y'all rocking with Humble Dad, even for my people that are following this link, man, please, please, please like the channel, share the channel, subscribe to the channel. If the Cash App is scrolling somewhere, send in the Cash App to support the work that this brother is doing so he can, it's not Cash Apps to line his pockets. It's Cash App to invest in production, to invest in more equipment, to invest in getting the message out, to invest in, all the things that he needs to do to get out, to reach out to other dads, right? So the lineup that he's had so far has been dope.
I appreciate that.
But what happens when he starts getting, TD Jakes on here to talk about being a dad? What happens when he gets Jay-Z on here to start talking about being a dad. That's only coming through y'all support. So please support the channel. I'm just the custodial engineer. So I'm the one that's going to be in the hallway sweeping up behind y'all and changing the toilet paper in the bathroom. That's all I'm going to
do. That's what's up, man. We appreciate you, Chicago Rilla. And for all those that are in DFW, we got a Humble Dad Night Out on Friday, 6:30 to 9:30 at Cross City. Having fun with your kids and competing against other dads and their kids. And we got Jason Earls coming out as a comedian for the night. So it's been real, Doc. You know what I'm saying? Until next time, we out here. Deuces.